Hello my dear friends, we begin today's massive update with some awesome news. Coming in 2024, we already know we have Skeleton Crew, The Acolyte, and The Bad Batch Season 3. But according to a new Disney press release, Tales of the Jedi Season 2 is also now confirmed for the new year. All of the shows currently don't have a definitive release date, but they do have an official release year. In 2024, we're gonna see Tales of the Jedi Season 2, The Bad Batch, Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew. This is fantastic, because up until now it was uncertain, with the strikes, with everything being rearranged, if Tales was still coming in 2024. Despite it being confirmed at Celebration, this is the first piece of news we've had since. Now we also have some amazing news for Ahsoka Season 2, and the future of several characters. In the upcoming issue of Empire magazine, there is a huge interview with Dave Filoni about the future of Ahsoka and the Mandoverse. And today we have a little bit of a tease, and it's a pretty huge tease, for what's coming to do with Grand Admiral Thrawn, some of his motives, his main enemies, and how it's all going to come together in Mando Season 4, in Ahsoka 2, but more than anything, Filoni's movie. Let's dive straight into this. Dave Filoni teases Thrawn's future in Star Wars, saying, quote, "His foil throughout Rebels was Hera, and we've seen them clash on more than one occasion. He stole her family Kalikori, but now that he's back in the known galaxy, and Hera Syndulla is working with the New Republic, there is going to be a newfound friction between the two, and Dave is here to say that old rivalry is going to feature into the upcoming projects, into the ongoing Mandalorian story. And fans have been saying for a long time, if you view Star Wars Rebels from a certain perspective, Hera is Thrawn's chief adversary. She may not be as strategic, as tactical and cunning, but there are some fascinating parallels between the two. She is unconventional and adapts. And in the same way Thrawn does for the Imperial Remnant, she on the other hand with the New Republic is commanding respect through her confidence, her determination, and her actions, rather than rank. When you get to the heart of it, Hera was a worthy opponent, not because she has the military prowess of the Grand Admiral, but because she keeps finding creative ways to survive him. The unpredictability factor is Grand Admiral Thrawn's Achilles heel, and her dynamic with the Republic in Ahsoka Season 1 is similar to Thrawn's dynamic with the Ascendancy, and then the Empire, and now the Remnant, adjusting and not following conventional wisdom or listening to authority when they think they know better. So in this issue of Empire magazine, is Dave Filoni gonna tease a second season is indeed on the way? Here is what Empire wrote. At the start of 2023, nobody knew we were getting a live-action Thrawn in Star Wars, but at Star Wars Celebration, Dave Filoni unveiled the big news. Not only was the Grand Admiral so beloved from various canon and Legends novels, and from Star Wars Rebels stepping into Ahsoka, but he would be played by Lars Mikkelsen, the very voice actor who brought his menacing whispered tones to Rebels' animated incarnation. Now it's official, Thrawn is back in the main Star Wars galaxy, and ready to cause chaos for the New Republic. As for what his plan actually entails, Dave Filoni teases a few hints of what comes after his return from exile, and as you're gonna see my dear friends, they're teasing a huge overlap between The Mandalorian Season 3, Ahsoka Season 2 presumably, Skeleton Crew, and what comes next. They say this: Dave Filoni mentioned a character introduced towards the end of The Mandalorian Season 3, in that mysterious Shadow Council sequence. Quote, "We set up Captain Pellaeon in The Mandalorian, and that's a character that goes with Thrawn, so I'd love to see the two of them together," Filoni teases. An interesting way to word this. We know the Imperial Remnant is going to play a huge part in Season 4, now that Moff Gideon is dead there is a sort of power vacuum, and we know Pellaeon both in the expanded universe and in canon is Thrawn's strongest confidant. And now Filoni is teasing an overlap between Thrawn's return on Dathomir, the Shadow Council, and Captain Pellaeon. Does this mean we're going to see Thrawn in Mando Season 4, and that we don't have to wait for Filoni's movie to find out what happens next with Dathomir, with the Great Mothers, and the communication between Pellaeon and Thrawn? He says he wants to see the two of them together. Is that already written? They go on to say, plus, he points out a fellow figure from Ahsoka has a long-standing conflict with the Grand Admiral. His foil throughout Rebels was Hera, Filoni states. Pitting the two generals against one another is something that I find interesting. We could be in for an almighty clash of blue versus green. This information is pretty massive. I can't wait to see the full issue of Empire magazine to find out where he goes with this, just to see what else Filoni's gonna tease. And then, Lars Mikkelsen himself has a few thoughts on what Thrawn is up to and what he's ultimately setting out to do. He said this: straighten out all of the others and tidy up the shop. I could imagine something in terms of a power play within the Empire. The New Republic needs to buckle up. The Imperial Remnant is preparing to strike back. So in a way, once again, from a certain point of view, the Empire strikes back. Now here's what's interesting. As diehard Star Wars fans who love to read into everything various actors and creators put out, I noticed something with the way Lars Mikkelsen words this. When he says Thrawn is going to straighten out all the others and tidy up shop, that was set up in Mando 3. Pelion, in the Shadow Council scene, talks about the return of Thrawn. He's going to expect all of those leaders to be allegiant to him, but the interesting thing is that they won't. We know, for example, that Hux, and therefore Rhys Thone, who they should really introduce into live action, she's in the Unknown Regions, they've got their own thing going on. When Lars talks about power play, he's talking about the way Thrawn wants to govern everything the Remnant does. He realizes there is a lack of structure. He probably saw Gideon as a nuisance, and now that he's gone, he can take his place, while also promising a more coherent and reborn Imperial machine, one that is Grand Admiral Thrawn's vision. And that could create an interesting scenario for defectors, those that form offshoots, independent groups with their own motives, outside ties that Thrawn doesn't know about, and those that go on to become the foundation for the First Order. I love how direct, forthcoming and honest Lars Mikkelsen and Dave Filoni are being here. They didn't have to reveal so much, and this is just a preview, and they've already given us a lot of information for what's to come with Thrawn, Pelion, Hera, rekindling old adversaries. This is going to be huge. I'm sure at some stage soon they're going to confirm Ahsoka Season 2. In other Ahsoka news, Diana Inosanto has provided a huge piece of information for how she requested her character Morgan Elsbeth be killed off. Her final duel with Ahsoka was pretty insane. Speaking to the official Star Wars website, the actress discusses Morgan Elsbeth's death and said this: stunt coordinator Ming came up with the idea of taking the spine of the Talzin blade and using it, redirecting the Night Sister magic. I wanted so much to have a powerful ending, so I requested that Elsbeth would die by her own weapon, leading to a powerful and mighty end. She went on to say this: I tapped into Julius Caesar and Catherine the Great. By the time I found out I was going to be in the Mandalorian, I switched gears and started looking at the books written by Timothy Zahn. Heir to the Empire was really important to me, and of course, Dave was always amazing about answering my questions. He was always there to explain Morgan's process and what her goals were. She finishes with this: Ahsoka, one way or another, was able to find her way through the darkness and into the light, so to speak. But with that said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.